Welcome. We are happy to have you guys here with us during our wrap up. This is kind of the first time we've done this. My name is Sam. I am the content and product marketing manager for ClassTech. You guys are probably used to seeing my face, but we do have someone with us that you're probably not used to seeing. I'll let him introduce himself, but first I want to head it over to Danielle. And Danielle, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, a lot of you know me. I led the advisor program. I am now the customer success manager at ClassTag. We're going to talk about Connect in a little bit, so I'm really excited to tell you more about my role when we introduce Connect. And I'm going to kick it over to Cole.
Thanks, Danielle. Hey everyone, nice to virtually meet you. So my name is Cole. I am head of district and school partnerships here at ClassTag. So just helping groups find the right solution for them and kind of helping with parent engagement in such an interesting environment. So excuse the attire. It is Tropical Thursday here at ClassTag. So we're kind of trying to find our beach in this June gloom. But happy to be here.
Awesome. And for those of you that don't know, we do have Tropical Thursday, as Cole is saying, and we most of us dress up. This is about as tropical as I get. I do live in Florida, so I feel like I get like a pass on it. And so this evening, we're going to kind of just chat a little bit about all the things that have happened this year and looking to the future and seeing what's happening with ClassTag in the future, but also just kind of figuring out where you guys are too. Feel free to drop a couple comments like usual. We will do a raffle tomorrow morning. I do believe we're going to give out a gift card or ClassTag coins. So be perfect for your supply list come back to school time. So like I always want to start out with like a personal question. This year was crazy. We know that. So what did you guys accomplish this year that you're really proud of, even though it was a crazy year? Danielle, I'll start with you, and then I'll take it and let Cole talk about his challenges for the year too.
I would say just creating and developing the Connect product for schools and districts. I remember probably a little more than a year ago, us talking about the product of what it should look like and what we need. And one of the features that I absolutely love is the reporting feature. And so I remember when we would talk about what reports should we have and what data do we want to pull and put in front of school and district leaders. And so it was a lot of fun to just connect with every member on our team and hear their thoughts and how we can improve and add it to the features of Connect. And now it's an actual product. And I love being able to present the features to the schools and districts I work with and see how excited they get about it and seeing how it's going to help them meet their goals that they set for the year.
That's awesome. And Danielle, we always work together. So I love that Danielle has totally maximized this amazing program for onboarding schools. It's just amazing. I'm probably the most proud of, and it's going to be really stupid sounding, but user generated content. I love seeing your faces, teachers. And I love when you guys send us pictures of what's going on in your classroom or, any supplies we were able to send you. That makes me really excited. So, feel free to hashtag ClassTag, and I love seeing pictures like that. And I'm glad that we've got to use that content throughout the year and feature some of our amazing teachers. It's just been a pleasure to work with teachers this year. And how about you, Cole?
Yeah, I think for me, the past year has been, everybody has had kind of different experiences. We've had similar things to look at, but different experiences with everything. And so I think it's been enjoyable working with all the different stakeholders in education, whether that's a district leader who might be looking at one thing or a teacher, kind of leading a teacher-led group down to principals and kind of helping everybody get in the same room, if you will, even if it is virtually, and kind of think about things as a collaborative group. So yeah, that's been kind of the most fun thing, or the thing I'm proud of over the last year.
Awesome. Sounds like all of us enjoy talking to you guys. All right, so we kind of want to run you guys through what we've created this year, and maybe if you haven't heard, it'll be good news or first news to you. But we've created quite a bit this year. Sharing my screen so you guys can see. We went back to school strong this year. We launched a whole campaign where we wanted to see your face and you with your with ClassTag. So we started the school year strong, even though the beginnings of COVID was happening and we were going back to school and it was kind of a mess, but we all went back to school strong. And then ClassTag Connect. That's probably, I think, one of the biggest things we've done this year is create ClassTag Connect. I'm going to let Cole talk about what Class Tag Connect is. And, you know, Danielle, I'm sure will have some things to add in there, and I'll let him take it from here.
Yeah, sure. I can touch on things. So, yeah, I think you guys might have seen an email come through with Class Tag Connect, or maybe seen a social post and like, hey, what, are they rebranding, or what exactly this is? And I think like one thing is kind of what the evolution of parent engagement has been, right? I think, and probably a lot of you guys found Class Tag, whether it's through kind of social media or a friend telling you about it or a colleague, just trying to fix maybe like your own issue of whether that's that helicopter parent that has been a little bit tough to kind of keep track of, or that parent that might be a little more aloof and you're just trying to make sure you're connecting with them. And so I think, maybe historically it's been more at the classroom level, and then especially in this, last year, but just as we go along and people want to be reached differently, buildings and districts all kind of want to be in the same area so that you guys can all support each other, make sure you're not stepping on each other's toes, be able to, really support those families that might be a little bit harder to track down as a group. And so I think that's really where Class Tag Connect started, is principals, district leaders were reaching out and saying, hey, we had this organic thing where my whole second grade or my whole elementary school is on Class Tag. Like, I don't really know how to monitor this. I don't really know how to support them. I know they like it, but I don't really know how to go from there. And, how do I get it now to my middle school or things like that? And so I think that's really the impetus of how Class Tag Connect started, is just trying to give like a one-stop shop that everybody can, be part of and have equity in it together. And so that's really where Class Tag Connect, began. And obviously, like I was talking about before, everybody kind of has their own needs and things to help support each other. And so really what Class Tag Connect is gives building level people, so whether that's a principal, vice principal, things like that, to help with a classroom setup, getting rostering done, taken care of. If you need a little extra support in a coder, that principal can help add those people. And then all the way to the district, right? So maybe you'll have great adoption at one school, but how do you kind of transfer that over to multiple schools and help with kind of tracking down students that are falling behind, because districts can be a little more data driven. So yeah, that's really what the Class Tag Connect solution is. I think we're going to get a chance to show you a little bit of it as well from that standpoint. So really, if you're thinking about it as kind of that one-stop shop that everybody can have equity to really support families, and kind of what we like to call internally is that digital education water cooler, if you will, at the end of the day, where your families can be part of communicating with you guys, so through that piece. But Sam, are we ready for a demo and to walk through it, or is that kind of a different?
We're going to hold off, and don't worry, it's coming, guys. Right. And for those of you that are just joining us, just know that if you participate tonight, it's great. But you do have until tomorrow at noon. We usually will let you drop a couple comments in, and we'll come read them within the next 24 hours. So just kind of reminding everyone. So I think, Cole, one of the things you kind of touched on is this importance of really having not only, your second grade team, but like pretty much everyone in the school or district on board, and having this single mode of communication. And I think we really honed into that once back to school started. We started realizing that it was a challenge. There's other platforms that you guys are using, but they don't really consolidate and help parents kind of get on board with it. And that was one of the big challenges, is parents not really, they know that those other platforms exist, but they don't really know how to interact, and there's not a two-way communication channel. So they might not get that feedback or that two-way communication opportunity. And that's why we really wanted to create Class Tag Connect, was that capability of really uniting home and school. I think I think we've achieved it. It's been a lot of work this year, but I think it's a great achievement, and hopefully our Class Tag Connect schools are happy, and Danielle knows that they're happy because she gets to hear about it. And I always, the other thing that happened this year was Class Tag Goods. So we kind of morphed our rewards program. I had Eva, our director of commerce, on our last call. or our last conference, and Class Tag Goods is truly going for a promise of providing free supplies. It's really important for us to help teachers really get supplies in their classroom. It's been really foundational of Class Tag to do that. And I'm going to go ahead and drop the link from last conference or last live session so you guys can tune in. But super proud of Eva and what she's done this year. A lot of teachers, have over $500 that they get to spend on supplies. And so you never have to run into problems with snacks in the classroom or books or just basic pencils and paper. That's why we created Class Tag Goods. And I will hand it over to Danielle to talk about Google Classroom extension and the parent portal.
Yeah, so the Google Chrome extension and the parent portal all sync with your Google Classroom. I think if there's one thing we learned this year about Google users is that they're using Google Classroom, and it's a bridge between the virtual and in-person world. And it's a tool that will continue to be used despite if schools go back in person or they're remote. They'll always be able to use Google Classroom to communicate post assignments and projects and things that are happening in the classroom. And so what we did is we helped bridge that gap of how do we keep communication strong, not only in Class Tag, but in Google Classroom where features are lacking, such as the only way you can access or message a parent is through email. And we know that email is not always the best way to reach them. And so we built the Google Chrome extension where your messenger inbox from Class Tag shows up in Google Classroom, so you can continue to reach out to your families in the language that they prefer and the form of communication that they prefer. And then recently, about 2 months ago, we released Parent Portal, which I'm excited to actually show you tonight, which shows all of your assignments, announcements, and materials that are posted in Google Classroom right in Class Tag for families to see. So not only are you able to seamlessly communicate and support your students in the platform that works for them, but parents have insight right into Class Tag where they're comfortable receiving communication and school-wide announcements.
Awesome. Danielle, did you want to show off Parent Portal by any chance?
Yeah.
All right. We'll get set up here. And Casey, I loved your comment. It's been a crazy year, but the kids did well. That's great. And then I'm sorry, I was the one typing, but we're so happy to hear that you guys have some learnings to take into next year. All right, Danielle, you're good to go.
Awesome. So when you go inside your library tab in your classroom, you're going to click Backpacks. That's where the Parent Portal is located. We call it the Parent Portal because it is available for parents to get the best experience on what's happening in Google Classroom. But you'll access it inside of your students' backpacks. So when you're inside of Backpacks, you'll click on a student, and you'll see a folder that pops up inside of every student's backpack that says Google Classroom. When you click on it, as you can see here, you can see a stream of all the posts that have been posted from Google Classroom, the classwork that you've added, any grades that you post will reflect in the backpack. And what I really like is that when I was teaching, I would create a lot of Google Forms. Parents can access these forms if they need to give input or read on what the assignment is about, they can do so. And then materials as well. So it really provides a place for parents to see all the information, and students can still work in their platform and not feel like parents are overly hovering on everything that's happening in their classroom, but they can see it from Class Tag where they know what's going on and communication can still be strong.
That's perfect. I always laugh because the person who probably was the most excited about this feature was probably our CTO, Jason. As a parent, was getting irritated that he couldn't see in his children's classrooms, and I think this was the brainchild that came out of it. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
And hi, Marie. Great to have you guys. if you guys are just joining us, I know I said this already, but feel free to comment. We love hearing from you. All right. And so Cole, I'm going to kind of turn it back over to you. We've talked a lot about ClassTag Connect, but maybe it's easier to see it in action.
Sure.
And teachers, feel free to drop any questions you might have. You have Danielle's like our product expert, our in-house product expert. I'm volunteering her to answer your questions, but I'm sure you'll have good ones.
All right, can everybody see my screen?
All right, yeah, you're good, Cole.
All right, awesome. So yeah, I think starting off, what does it mean to have multiple parties in ClassTag? Does that mean anything different for teachers? How can that affect things? I think the first place is to probably stick in a familiar area, which is kind of this announcement wall. I think the big difference here is adding, instead of just having your classroom communication, and some of you probably have school communication as well as your building leaders are involved, but having the district communication in here as well. Obviously, districts aren't communicating as much as a classroom, but they definitely are on bigger things, snow days, testing changes, things like that. So yeah, starting off, I think this is always kind of where I stick, which is this familiar wall, which has the announcements you guys probably have seen at your classroom level, right? The photos, things you can add in here as well. And so what I'll do here is just show you kind of the trickle down capabilities of ClassTag Connect. So probably pretty similar functionality here is just creating that announcement, right? So maybe it's school ends on the 12th. Obviously they can add in any pieces here, add send times, things like that. Then adding in files here if they'd like to share permission slips, things like that. Very similar to the classroom level. They can also add a few extra things. So, and this is for any building leaders as well. You have this functionality with ClassTag Connect. So you can link this to the school or district social media pages to just share this announcement as a social media post. Add voice broadcasting. So this is for robocalls, things like that. Just like any emergency communication that's similar to priority announcement can be big from there. So setting that up, going to look very similar in the same capacity as things that are down at the classroom level. So we're going to have that functionality. Obviously, it's going to tell your parents that this is coming from the district or the school rather than the classroom level and the individual up here too. So one thing your parents can see. It's still going to have that same translation capability. It's going to have ability to share as an email or a text message here, right? And just going to be applied from that standpoint. Now, as we send that out, I think this is really the big difference is following this announcement down as we go down. So in here, as you can see, right, this is on this wall, but this is just at the district level. One of the big things after that aspect is going down to the school level. So obviously in ClassTag Connect, the district level individuals will have access to all the buildings, ability to support those buildings if need be, jump in there if an extra teacher needs to be added, anything like that. So obviously this is one of our demo schools. As you scroll down, I think the big difference here is being able to see district announcements as they trickle down into the building level piece. So you obviously still have the building level announcements on this wall, but what we call waterfall communication, where everything kind of trickles down, is just a good way for if you think about your parents, and your parents have a couple kids in a district, maybe at different schools, just to know to only check one place to kind of see that capability. Now, a couple other things here, the same kind of direct message functionality here that you guys probably use with your parents. But just the last piece is, as we're looking at things, is down at the classroom level. Seeing how that trickles down. So obviously this is a teacher's classroom. And then now these announcements can come down to the classroom level. So really just a nice piece. As teachers, I think you guys are asked a lot of different things that might be outside your classroom when larger events are coming. Just a nice way for parents to only need to log into your wall to really be able to see that functionality and things like that, and touch on that piece. And then, of course, you still have kind of the same functionality as a teacher. You can create announcements, create events, ask for volunteers, set to-do items, and do parent-teacher conferences. So still much more functionality at the teacher level. That's really where we're passionate about and focused on, but just gives you some extra equity to make sure everybody's involved and kind of supporting you guys as you're going along. And then I think the last piece that is interesting as people are looking at, why is it important to have the whole district on one district-wide solution, is the reporting aspect. So I think there's a couple things here, and the teachers will have access to this as well. But you can see, what we're looking at right now is just the reporting aspect. So you can see across the district how you're trending. So what this is connection health. So how well connected are the families in your district? So obviously the green, it means families are involved, opening their messages, things like that. And then the yellow and red, yellow means it's going to a spam filter. It's not working. They're not opening your messages. Red means the contacts are actually bouncing completely. So it just gives you some added functionality to see how you're trending family by family. As I mentioned, the district staff and building staff can just help support teachers, because obviously it's hard to be able to track all of these students down yourself. And so it's a good piece from that standpoint. There's a few other aspects, like this is actually counting the quantity of communications to families. So this is really great for any individuals that might have Title I students at their district. This is a great way to actually prove out that ClassTag can work for Title I funds. So that's a really enjoyable part of my role is helping people find the funds and things like that to make this work for them. And then also the last piece is there's a bunch of different reports on here, but just that might be interesting to you guys is this communications report. So what this will just show is quantity and quality of communication across the district, the schools, and the classrooms. Just being able to support other teachers, see who might be falling behind, things like that. This will show specific communications that and the red rates of those and things like that. So if there's any big events, teachers and school level individuals can see, hey, there's a big announcement out about a end of school testing, things like that. Just make sure everybody's reading it from that standpoint. So that's kind of covering why in the different features and functionality that might be interesting from that standpoint. There's obviously other bells and whistles and things like that, but I think, if you really to sum up why it's so important for everybody to have a piece of this is what we see, especially once districts and building level people get involved, is from our data and what we can see, more involved and kind of inclusive you can create a community, the better you can support those students, which leads to just higher student success, better attendance, things like that. They're all trying to figure out how to improve. So yeah, that's what we've been really excited about, helping organizations get it involved and getting everybody on the same page as well. So yeah, that kind of covers it on my end. So.
It seems like we lost Sam. She's actually in the middle of a terrible storm in Florida, so she should be back in a few minutes. But I did want to add on, Cole, that if you're wondering, your school district decides they want to purchase Connect, like what does it mean in terms of the support onboarding your school or district? And that's where my role comes in. So my job as a customer success manager is once a school or district decides that they're going to move forward with Connect, I am their cheerleader or their coach throughout the year to make sure that they're successfully onboarded. So teachers, no longer do you have to spend time adding manual rosters to your classrooms, creating your classrooms at your school. That's something that the ClassTag team supports your school tech director, all your leaders during the summer. So when you come back to school, you'll be focused on getting dedicated priority professional development from our team, learning the tips and best practices for using ClassTag throughout the year that are aligned with your goals. And I also support your leaders throughout the year to make sure that communication is strong, that you're meeting your goals, and anything that comes along the way. And so, yeah, that's a little bit about how the experience will be throughout the year with ClassTag Connect.
Thanks, Danielle. Sorry about that, guys. Living in Florida has its dangers.
Yeah, I let them know that you fell off because of the storm.
I know it's happened twice. Usually it doesn't happen as frequent. Florida infrastructure is usually pretty good. Did we talk a little bit about sharing with admin and maybe, just some best practices with sharing with our principals? I know, Cole went over everything, and I know some teachers really struggle. They know how great ClassTag is. Most of you have been using it for quite some time, and you're really not sure how to tell your admin that this is a great solution. Danielle, I'm going to kind of turn it over to you for some couple best practices.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of you know, if you were an advisor last year, that we spent a lot of time just understanding what's the best way to approach your admin. And what it really comes down to is, your relationship you have with your admin. You may feel more comfortable knocking on the door and saying, hey, I'd love to tell you about ClassTag and how it's been beneficial to my classroom. Or maybe it's better to send an email or schedule a call or your next one-on-one to kind of let them know how it can help the whole entire school. So I think understanding your relationship and the best way to approach them. And then another thing that I think would be really helpful is to do a head count on how many teachers at your school are using ClassTag currently, and see which teachers are interested in using it for this coming school year. And when you have that conversation with your leader, it will really speak volumes to what technology is worth using and exploring. Because in my experience talking with leaders, a lot of the times they care about finding a product that teachers are going to utilize, and they're really going to see how it's going to transform their classroom. And it's not just for communication. This is just across the board. So if you're coming with that data and saying, hey, I have X amount of teachers in our school that really see the value and want to try it out, then your next step after that would be to reach out to our team for us to provide a demo. We don't want to put the work on you to have to showcase ClassTag Connect or really go over what the features and functionality are for the product. And so reaching out, Sam, I know you're going to drop in a link that makes it really easy for teachers to set up a call and to reach out to their admin. And so, our ClassTag team, Cole's team, will be the ones who will meet with your school and district leaders and tell them about Connect. And then once they sign on, they'll come over to me and some of my colleagues to support them throughout the year.
And I dropped the link in chat, guys. It's real simple. All you do is fill out a quick, easy form. It's asking for administrator name and their email and your name, and we send a personalized message and we take care of the hard part. We love giving Cole things to do and people to talk to. So feel free, refer your admin and let us take care of the hard work. You don't have to do that. That's what we like to do. So I want to finish out by saying we do have a Twitter chat happening on June 16th. It's, the ultimate teacher bucket list. We are going to ask you what you plan to do this summer. Danielle, you have anything exciting going on this summer?
Pool parties, driving places. I am not taking a plane. My last plane to Florida was not a good experience. So yeah, just enjoying the East Coast. I mean, I love Connecticut in the summertime, and I'm very close to the coast. I'm 2 miles away. And so yeah, I'm just excited to be outside and really enjoy summer, where I know last year we were all pretty limited.
True story. How about you, Cole? Anything exciting this summer?
Yeah, I'm spending the summer in Seattle, so hoping to do some hiking and kind of enjoy the outdoors up here. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm excited for.
Ironically, we're kind of doing the same thing as a family. We're all going to Helen, Georgia in July. So I'm pretty stoked about that. My mom,
nice. That's good.
Yeah, that's all of my immediate family, which is quite large. So it'll be a good trip. Well, thanks guys for joining us tonight. Remember, drop a comment in and we'll check tomorrow and see who will be the lucky winner. And we enjoyed this year having this year with you, and we will see you guys next year and during back to school season. Cheers.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.